Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Strength Fused Hope Goku and Vegeta Angel. So this is obviously the Strength Fusion Vegito, the Patara Vegito, the Vegito from the Majin Buu saga. I think there are a couple manga panels that they use to inspire their super attacks. But yes, it's based obviously on the manga panels. And this is actually the 5th worldwide celebration. So this is the 5th anniversary worldwide celebration unit. So it's going to be very interesting to see just how good he is now. Especially considering they recently got a 200% lead in the form of the Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta. So it's going to be interesting to see how they hold up stat-wise and just in general. As a unit though, pretty good still. Battle of the Wits or Majin Buu Saga lead of 3 key, HP 130% and attack and defense of 170. They raise attack and defense for 1 turn. They raise attack and defense on their 18 key for 1 turn as well. And they have attack and defense of 120%, reduce damage received by 30%, and get an additional key +1 per type key sphere obtained. They also have a medium chance of launching an additional super attack. They're kind of a downgraded version of the AGL Goku and Vegeta that obviously recently came out, but they're very similar in design. You can activate the Patara fusion when HP is 77% or less, starting from the 4th turn. In terms of link skills, they have Saiyan Warrior Race, Experienced Fighters, Saiyan Lineage, Shocking Speed, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. And in terms of categories, they're on Majin Buu Saga, Patara, Pure Saiyans, Joint Forces, Super Saiyans, Kamehameha, Final Trump Card, Battle of Wits, Accelerated Battle, Fused Fighters, Bond the Parent, and Child. So they're on quite a few categories. Once you transform them, once you use the active skill, they become Vegito. Vegeta will recover 50% HP once only, has attack and defense of 150% with a medium chance of performing a critical hit, that is 30%. He counters normal hits with tremendous power and has an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained. He also has key +5 and foresees enemy super attacks for 10 turns from the start of turn. He raises his attack and defense for 1 turn on the super attack and raises his attack and defense for 1 turn on his 18 key. Obviously in terms of build for this unit, so in terms of how you want to build this unit, the medium chance to crit is pretty good, but I would still suggest a split between crit and additional, probably favoring crit since you really want to crit on the counters to make him super effective in terms of his overall DPS. So I would still probably go for a majority crit build, but you can give him a little bit of additional. Him being better defensively in the base form is well known because of the flat 30% damage reduction, the ability for the unit to raise their defense possibly 3 times on a super attack is pretty good. So there is some incentive to have some kind of additional, but also I think crit does manifest the second form a lot better, and crit just is a very good kind of base denominator to build with. So in this rotation here we do have 20% support. We have them linked up pretty well. Most of their links are shared. They share 5 links with the AGL Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, so that is a very good linking partner for them. In terms of defense, at 146,000, which is pretty decent. 146k, only 20% support on the rotation, so they look very solid. I think overall they are solid. With 30% damage reduction, that's a decent amount of defense, especially if you let them get their super attacks off first. They possibly can fire 3 super attacks. If not, they will at least fire 2 super attacks hopefully, and that will raise their defense quite substantially. If both super attacks come off, they will be looking at over 200k defense or around that mark. With 30% damage reduction, it's pretty decent. They will be able to hold their own defensively. Their base form is definitely better defensively than their Vegito form. I think a lot of people are aware of that. It's not an industry secret or anything like that, but you know, the big industry is not hiding big secret from small independent consumer by saying that they are better in their base form. Defensively, they have damage reduction, and their defensive increase from transformation is not that much. What you do miss out on, and what the transformation does bring you, which is very, very powerful, is the ability to foresee super attacks. Foreseeing super attacks is always going to be a super powerful ability because it allows you to perfectly construct your rotations. That is something in a game like Dokkan that is a very, very incredible ability to give to a team. So whenever a unit gives you the ability to see where super attacks are, it's immediately like very good. So here we can see we've got a couple more links up. Very similar link set, just kind of different spread. 153,000 defense, which is pretty good. Again, you know, solid enough defense. You kind of wish it was around the 200k mark, especially for a Rainbow Link level 10 unit. We do only have the smallest amount of support. I mean, 20% is not huge. Not nowadays where 50%, 40%, 30% supports are kind of, you know, all over the place. But, yeah, it is pretty decent. Damage-wise, they've been doing alright as well. I wouldn't say that they're doing huge damage, but they're definitely doing decent numbers. You know, they're not doing 7 millions or 8 millions, but they are doing decent numbers. You're going to see a huge DPS increase when they become Vegito. If you're looking for damage, Vegito will do huge damage. He does like 1 million crits. He does 6 million, 7 million super attacks. He's where their damage is going to come in. The Goku and the Vegeta Angel unit are very much a more stable unit in the form of their presentation. They definitely are there more as a solid defensive unit. Their category lead is great. I think, yeah, they are a very solid unit. Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect them as a unit. I think they are honestly still pretty solid. I do think if you want to take them into red zone, you can. I took the strength Vegito into red zone against AGL Broly with a Whis active in his transform state. He took about 120k after a double super attack. That's not terrible. It sounds like a lot, but it's not terrible. The offense that you get, the ability to foresee super attacks, is still 100% a reason to transform Vegito. But I would not suggest transforming him against AGL-based red zone bosses. That's pretty much it. If you're facing any other kind of red zone boss and you have a Whis active, he will be more than fine defensively. We're going to try him under a Super Saiyan's lead now, just for the slightly reduced leader skill, just to show you how it impacts the stats. If you'll think of the defense, we were sitting in the 150s, 160s mark on the other team, which I think is a good improvement for strength Vegito. I think it is definitely a good improvement. Here, we are going to see them a lot lower on the defensive numbers, and it's not because they're bad, it's that decrease in leader skill. Yeah, here you're at 121. We do have 30% support on this rotation, no major links active, but you already can see the slight effects of not really having your major links up and not being on that 200% leader skill. In terms of the links themselves, very offensively orientated for the most part. Same warrior race, offensive link, experienced fighters, offensive link. Same lineage, shocking speed and prepared for battle, or hybrid link, so 5% attack defense and a bit of key. And then fierce battle and legendary power to kind of round it off. When you transform them into Super Vegito, that's where you get a slightly different link set. It will change. So when you're trying to build them, either accommodate them being in their base form or accommodate them being in Vegito form. Build around that notion. Generally, I build around them being in base form, just because that's the majority of how I use them, especially in hard content. When I talk hard, I mean like red zone, that's generally where I'll stick them as a rainbow unit, because they are very good defensively. After they fire off 2 supers, they're more than fine defensively. The 30% damage reduction is nice to have. The transformation, the heal, it's all good stuff. So I do use them. Majority, I'll keep them in base form unless I really need the heal or the ability to see attacks. Then I'll generally switch them over, and you'll see me switch them into Vegito. But the links do change. You know, if you look at the Goku Angel, Saiyan lineage, shocking speed, experienced fighters, and Saiyan warrior race all drop out, and they gain Super Saiyan, Power Bestow, Bagard, Fuse Fighters, and Kamehameha. It's no surprise that as Goku and Vegeta, they share a lot of links with Goku and Vegeta units. So you can link them up with the Tech Goku, the Tech Duo, the Physical Duo, the Int Duo. You can pretty much link them up with any of them. The AGL one we saw, they share 5 links. They also share decent links with Int Namek Goku, AGL, Kamehameha Gohan. Pretty much any kind of Super Saiyan Goku, Gohan, or Vegeta LR kind of has their link set. So yeah, but we'll talk more about links when we get to the linking partner phase. But yeah, generally speaking, they do look pretty decent. We see here they've got all their links active on this rotation, and we still have a support here, and we're sitting at 133,000, which is okay. You can see that drop between the 158 and the 133, and that's just because of the leader skills. So they definitely did get an improvement in terms of running alongside a new 200% leader skill, especially one that shares 5 links with them. I think they have a pretty nice kind of like synergy with them. 5.6 million is also relatively decent as well. And yeah, overall they look pretty good. I don't really have any issues with their overall performance, especially in base. I think they can do a really good job, and I think, you know, they're still defensively sound in base for all the hard content. Just maybe more a floater than a main tank nowadays, but after supers, they should be fine. And for the final phases, you know, pop a Whis, and they got 70% damage reduction. They're not going to take a lot of damage with 70% damage reduction. So we're going to just take a look at them in Vegito form and then assess their links. So yeah, obviously you can only transform them if you are below the health threshold. 77% is not so bad. I think we've seen with the Goku, the Super Saiyan Goku, how big a difference is that 7% makes. Like, to go from 70% to 77%, now you see his transformation all the time, whereas before it was like very late on into events. You can get clipped by a stray super attack and see it now, which is obviously great. You're going to notice that I am transforming both of the units. That's just so we have a 6 link partner, and so we can get a pretty good kind of look at just how good the units are together. So obviously this is all under the 200% leader skill, just so you can have a pretty nice evaluation of just how good they are, kind of pretty much at their max. We don't have a support here, but 159,000 defense. We don't have a defense equip on or anything like that, but it's about as good as it gets. Obviously after 2 supers, you can be sitting at around the 220-ish mark, the 210, 220-ish mark, which is, it's decent. Damage-wise though, very nice. Obviously, yeah, the nice thing about this is his attacks raise the strength of his overall countering ability, so very, very cool. And then just so you can get an idea, obviously, of his countering capabilities, again, 159k, we are going to have some support from the Paikuhan. Obviously, Movie Heroes / Trojan Forces being quite a strong team, you can get really nice synergy with units like Paikuhan giving support, and you'll just obviously then raise that defense to around 170, 180, and you can see million damage crits are very, very good. Obviously, we are facing the physical Vegeta, but when you're getting a million on a crit, it's going to be very, very good. So yeah, overall, Vegeta looks nice. Remember, if he crits after he supers as well, he's going to be doing even more damage. Now, the big thing with Vegito is obviously just links. So Vegito is, in his base form, very different to when he's transformed. The only real carryover is Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. So obviously, if you want to kind of look at a unit that carries over, they need to have Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Or, yeah, one of those two. Ideally, though, you just build for different scenarios. So I don't ever really plan on making the Strength Vegito my main unit. Unless, obviously, I'm running... Well, not I don't plan. Like, I use them... I will transform them in any content that isn't red zone against an AGL boss, pretty much. Or if I don't have any items left to give them damage reduction. Like that's kind of the limit of where their strength lies, which is very high, like along the spectrum. A lot of people will say they're unable to be run in red zone. It's a lie. Them with a Whis in transformed form will take around 110 to 120,000 on a normal from AGL Broly, one of the hardest AGL bosses that they can face in the game. So there's no ways that they are bad in any like sense of the word. So don't, like, people need to get that out of their heads, like that a unit needs to be able to no item them. So yeah, but overall I think link wise you just build mainly for either their base form or for their second form, or you're lucky enough to have a unit that can cross over. Units that can cross over are more or less units like, for example, transforming Gogeta that you saw me use, the physical Goku and Vegeta Angel, or the int Goku and Vegeta, or the brand new AGL Goku and Vegeta. The only reason the AGL Goku and Vegeta can kind of cross over is because they are one of the few units that shares Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, but also has Super Saiyan. So when they go over, when they cross over, they go from 5 links to 4 links, which isn't bad. It's not terrible. Yeah, 4 links is pretty good. They just don't have a lot of base synergy. Like you wouldn't really run Vegito and them together unless you're obviously using items, but then you probably would. There would be a very high damage rotation. So yeah, you need either units that can cross over, or you just need units that are good with either form. So that's kind of how you should work it. Like I said, your main priorities for the base form, probably Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. Saiyan Lineage is also very good. Saiyan Warrior Race, you would have seen a lot of Brolys they could have linked with, which is pretty good. Down the Experienced Fighters side, obviously there's a couple of interesting Piccolo Goku combo cards. Now that Joined Forces has got a pretty nice lead as well. That's not a bad thing either. So you've got some decent synergy. Obviously Joined Forces cards are going to kind of really be along their line. But yeah, generally speaking, you do have decent synergy. Shocking speed wise, it's a little bit less common than Prepared for Battle, but you can kind of go down that route. The Strength Gohan, the Strength Ultimate Gohan's got good synergy with them. You've got the Namek Goku, the new one that just Easy 8. I think he's got great synergy with them. Yeah, just overall, you do have or tend to have some pretty solid synergy. For me, at least, I think they are pretty decent. I would say that they look really, really solid as a unit. Obviously, from link leveling itself, you don't gain a lot. So you'll see mine and look at link level 10, but realistically, okay, you gain 15% defense overall between the 3 links, and you gain, maybe 30%, 35% attack. It's not a huge amount from link leveling them. The defense is maybe the nicest thing, because in base form, that little extra defense that you get, that 15% defense, it does help out, especially when you have stuff like 30% damage reduction. The little bits of extra defense do tend to push you to being a bit better defensively, which is always nice, I think, overall. So yeah, decent stuff. In terms of link set, I think they are more than fine. Obviously, as I discussed, generally speaking, building for their Vegeta form is just going to end up with you kind of being down the Fusion, Vegito, Potara kind of line, which is fine. They're very, very heavy Fusion Potara links, and that's okay. It just depends on how you want to build the team and what event you plan on using them in. I would say pretty much anything up till current red zone, Vegito form is probably better. Gods of Destruction event, Vegito is probably better. Especially at max link levels with equipments and that, with the new partners he's got, 200% lead. Yeah, I would say, pretty much anything up till Gods of Destruction levels you can pretty much do with Vegito. I would say in red zone, I probably favor keeping in base, because the damage is still pretty decent. Well, we're looking at 5 million, 6 million attack stats, at least over 5 million. And defensively with an item, 70% damage reduction is very, very good. If not more, you know, with the supers and everything. So yeah, I would say that's probably where they lie. I still think they're very, very good. I do think though at Rainbow, being an LR, yes, they are 2 years old. I do think they could maybe be a bit better. Like, just considering everything, I think they could be slightly better. I think them keeping the damage reduction on Tech Gogeta was because of Vegito, so I think it just was one of those things. And that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.